So it's been about a month since my last video, and I've made a lot of gains on some characters, almost no gains on others, and I picked a 5th Legion champion. The Legion champion is honestly tempting me a lot. I want to second main it, and I might just second main it. It took about 3 days for me to get from level 200 on it to 260, and the majority of this video is going to be that process of just those 3 days getting to 260, and then I will talk a little bit about my 5, 10, 15 gains, which, spoiler alert, there weren't much. Very unlucky event for me, but yeah, let's just get on into it.
Yeah, boy.
So if you watched the first episode of this series, you would know that I made a Thunderbreaker on Challenger World, and I really liked the class. The last time I played Thunderbreaker was when they were throwing out those green and yellow sharks. So it's been a minute, and then every time I've heard anything about this class since then, it's always been pretty negative, mainly around their damage being not very good, and then also about their skills just being broken. That was a few years ago, but yeah, I basically just never heard anything positive about this class. But because I haven't played it in a while, I decided to give it a shot, and I really liked it in Challenger World. That being said, I didn't want to wait for the world leap from Challenger World, so I made a brand new one on Kronos, which is the world I play on, and just got it to level 200 for the hyper burn that we get at the end of this Stargazer event. I didn't wait for the world leap because I wasn't sure if the hyper burn was going to expire at the end of the event, and I wasn't going to risk it, so I just decided to make another one and level it up to level 200. In retrospect, I probably should have got it to 199 because I missed out on the level 7 Vanishing Journey symbol, but it's whatever. To prep, I saved about 2,500 nodes and immediately just opened them all on this character. Pretty much got all my boost nodes to level 25, got most of the skills to level 25, and now I'm just kind of working on some of the other skills. To level it up to 200, I used 2 of the Strawberry Farm stuff, so I had 3 left at level 200, and basically for the beginning part, or the day 1 of this leveling journey, I just used Strawberry Farms to level up, because I basically did this the day before reset, I believe, like the weekly reset, so I could just buy more Strawberry Farms. But yeah, I basically just did the Strawberry Farms, got my level up event, left the Strawberry Farms, and then ran right back in. I just want to touch on the node situation going on here. If there are any new Thunderbreakers looking at my nodes right now and going like, oh, it's a 6-node class. It's not a 6-node class. It is a 4-node class. However, I had a ridiculous amount of nodes to throw on this, and I know that you can get away with having 7 nodes, 7 boost nodes, and still fill every slot. Plus, I don't need speed infusion because this class has built-in speed infusion, so I have an extra slot to use. So I thought, why not? Let's just max the remaining skills on a 3rd trio. So that's what I did. But if you are looking to main this, or maybe not main, or even main, I guess, or mule or whatever this class, just know this is a 4-node class, or a 2 trio class, not a 6 trio class. So if you don't have that many nodes to just waste like I have, don't feel like you have to make the 3rd trio here. So the last Strawberry Farm coupon for this week got me all the way to level 220, which is pretty ridiculous. These give a lot of EXP, these coupons, all the way up to level 260. I know some people like to say like, oh, they fall off at 230 or whatever. That's true and not true. Like, if you're not on an established account, where you still need level 3 links and stuff, then definitely use them on level 200 characters, because you're going to get a lot of value out of that level 3 link. But if you're on an established account like mine, it's definitely worth using it all the way up to 260, because they give like something like 10 or 20% like in the 250s. So definitely always worth using these if you're below level 260. And I'm a big fan. These are becoming a favorite of mine on a lot of characters. After I finished my coupons, I transferred over my ride or die stuff from my main. So I got those 1000 EXP coupons, and those got me to level 225. Once I was in Arcana, I decided to fix up my Maple Planner, put all the dailies, put all the weeklies, put all the fun stuff, all the work, all the monotonous stuff that you have to do every day and every week in this game in order to make any progress. And just looking at it now, it makes me feel like I have homework to do. But anyways, I did that up, or I cleaned that up, and then I went into Ride or Die to collect the magnificent growth potions. We got 3 from the event, or from Ride or Die, and then we got 2 from the Stargazer or whatever, the shop there. But I already used those on my Phantom just for EXP, which I definitely regret, because I could have finished this character a lot faster. But it's whatever. I still got 3, which is really, really helpful. And because I'm a Hyperburning Max character, this means if I use them at level 235, I immediately get to 250, basically, which was my goal. So I just had them in my inventory sitting there until I got to 235, which was pretty easy to do. Basically, what I did after I got to 225 is I just did my 7 runs of Monster Park, and it was the perfect amount of EXP to get me to level, to get me to level 1, which was, again, 5 levels. So I got into Morass. And because it was getting kind of late, I decided just to finish the day by doing my dailies and going to bed. So on the second day, the dawn of the second day, I decided to do something that I usually never ever do on a pre-260 character, and that's grind. It's just a complete waste of time for the most part, and I could basically just always use my time better doing basically anything else on my account. But because this is a Hyperburning Max character, I decided to just pop all of the EXP buffs and push this 1 level because I only needed 1 level to get to 235, and then I would pop my 3 mag potions, which was the plan. So I decided, you know what, let's do this. And it only took about half an hour, which honestly is a little longer than I thought it would take, but it was still kind of cool to actually see my EXP bar move in real time, unlike on my main where I only see my EXP bar move in intervals of 2 hours. So it's nice to actually be able to see your progress as you're grinding. But just like that, I was in Asphera and I could see the finish line. I was just 3 mag pots away from Vihilla, or not Vihilla, but Labyrinth of Suffering. And if you guys didn't know, the Moonbridge, Labyrinth of Suffering, and Limina all give really good EXP for their dailies. Those dailies are super high value for level 250 mules. That's where the majority of your EXP gains come from your dailies. I think those 3 equal pretty much the same as all 6 of the previous dailies. So I was pretty pumped to be able to unlock 2 out of 3 of them. That being said, I really didn't want to grind another level 4 today, so basically what I did was just do my dailies, and then I decided to grind a little bit on my Phantom because of the Maple Memo we got. I had the Vac Pet, so I was like, okay, let's start pushing the Phantom a little bit. But then, out of nowhere, well, not out of nowhere, we all knew it was coming, but the timing couldn't have been more perfect. The Inkwell note hit. And of course, I accepted those 2 mag pots on my TB and the 5,000 EXP vouchers, and they basically got me to level 55 with 80-ish%, I believe. And it was pretty close to reset, so I decided just to go back to the Phantom, grind it out, and wait until reset hit to do Monster Park. After doing my dailies again, I did Monster Park, and that was again pretty much the exact amount of EXP I needed to level up and get to 260, which was crazy fast. This is probably one of the fastest characters I've ever leveled. Usually it takes me about a week or two to get to 260, so it's kind of crazy that I did this in like 2 real life days, but like 3 in-game days, I guess. It was just pretty nutty. I would never have thought it would have been this easy to level up, but that power creep is pretty nutty. But just like that, I was in Cernium, and before I knew it, I was done my 6-job quest. Because I'm an idiot, I didn't use any of the frags from the Inkwell note on my TB. I actually just threw them all on my Cadena because I was so close to maxing out my M4, which was the final one. So I was just like, you know what, let's just max that out. Which I kind of regret because my TB is just kind of sitting there with no masteries and a level 1 origin. But it's whatever. It's done. The grind to 260, as easy as it was, is finally over. And I no longer have to worry about this character in terms of levels. Although when Night Troop comes around, this thing is getting juiced. Basically, right now, the goals for this character, or the plans for this character, is to not necessarily stay on top of dailies. I get burned out pretty easily if I do dailies on a bunch of characters, and like I said at the beginning of this video, I'm kind of torn between this character and my Phantom, so I kind of have to make a decision whether or not I want to keep doing dailies on my Phantom or keep doing dailies on my TB, because really I can only do dailies on 2 characters. If I do any more, it gets really burnout feeling. I don't know how to explain it. I just can't do more than 2 characters at a time. It feels like work. So that being said, right now I'm doing my Phantom because I enjoy the class a lot, and because it has a vac pet, so it makes it a lot easier to play. But for the TB, at this moment, all I'm doing is my weekly bosses. I'm trying to stack up on CRA gear so I can immediately push it to 17 star at the very least, obviously, and then I want to push it to 22 as soon as I can. But again, is it gonna be 22 before I 22 my Phantom? I don't know yet. I'm not sure. We're still making that decision. But yeah, that's basically the journey and kind of what I've been doing on the TB, or how I got to 260 on the TB. Now let's get into the rest of my characters and the 5, 10, 15 and just gains I've made in general. I decided to spend the 30 blue cards that we got from the Inkwell note on my Cadena because I'm still trying to roll for 120 boss. I'm getting there, pretty close, but I got really lucky. Okay, not only did I replace my 6% auto steal with a 7% auto steal, I know, massive gains, we're really moving up in the world here, but I rolled a disgusting hybrid. I couldn't believe it, and it was with my second last card. I was convinced I was gonna get nothing, but then I saw that 40% boss, 20% IED, and I was like, GG, the world is gonna hate me. So that now puts me at 30, 30, 40, and with a 20% IED line. So that's 100% boss, 20% IED, just 2 more 40% to go, and we are finished with the fams, and I never have to worry about this stupid system ever again. I know we're gonna get a quote-unquote revamp of the system, but God knows what that means, so we're just gonna keep rolling until that revamp comes. And once I get my 40%, or once I get 2 more 40%, I'm just going to start stockpiling fams and throwing them on my Legion champs, so I can get, hopefully, at least 100% boss, or 90% boss, like 330s. But honestly, on my Legion mules, I'll settle for 320s. I was feeling like a lucker dog, as you would if you just rolled a hybrid fam, and then 5, 10, 15 came along and really just kind of put me in my place. So I started out with like 77-ish bill for this event, and my first Dom pendant went to 21, which, if you guys have never tapped Doms, okay, Doms are made out of paper. I don't know why, but they always boom. Like, I safeguard my Doms. That's how fragile those things are in my hands. And they still boom. They still boom like crazy. So I was kind of excited that the first one went to 21, and I was like, okay, let's do this. Transferred into the sup, and immediate disappointment. That's right. I put it in the first click, the very first click, and it boomed. Yep, the first click. Yep. I'm still mad. This happened weeks ago, and I'm still mad. Okay, this is like the 5th pendant that I've tried, and they all boom. I'm fuming. I'm so mad. Then I decided to tap these Guardian Angel rings because I'm trying to replace some of my farming gear, because I noticed that my Janus are kind of 2-shotting, 3-shotting if I'm not stacking my buff, and I'm about to go to Carcion, so I decided, you know what, let's get a little bit stronger. For some reason it didn't save the footage, or the footage got corrupted or whatever, but basically I boom all of these rings and I drop down to like 60 bill, and I have, well, not all of the rings, I have 2 left, but I decided, you know what, I've wasted enough money on this. It's time to work on my mules. If you go to Reddit, you'll get the impression that mules just eat. You know, they get nothing but gains. All the RNG goes to your mules. This is not true. This is not true at all. This Fire Poison has been the most unlucky character on the face of the planet. Okay, I have boomed, I think on my journey to 22 on my CRA, I boomed 15 hats, like something like 20 tops and like 20 pants. Like, it was brutal. It was, they cost as much as arcanes to get to 22. It was pretty disgusting. That was a long time ago. So, you know, the past is in the past. I thought maybe I'd get lucky with this character. But whatever. I decided to roulette my arcane gloves and shoes because I had backups of both of them, and I had 1 arcane box sitting in my inventory. I got both of them to 18, 19, I think, and decided to hold off because I didn't want to, or I realized, oh shit, I have like all these other things that are a lot cheaper than arcanes that I could probably tap and make a lot of gains on. So I realized that not kind of late. I only spent like 2 bill or whatever getting these to 18, and then I decided, let's do the Kana Treasure. Not the Kana Treasure, the Twilight Mark. And I had a good feeling about these. These have been pretty lucky on my account, but not this one. No sir, not these. I had 2 backups, so I was feeling pretty confident that I could get this to at least 21, because that's the goal on this mule. Just get it to 21, everything to 21, or at least my accessories. And basically it never saw 20. At the very least, I can say that these things didn't eat all of my money, so I'm thankful for that, I guess. But I guess when you're lucky with the fam cards, it kind of just ruins the RNG for the rest of your account, which, you know what, I'll take it. Next up on the chopping block was the Kana's Treasure, and I really do mean chopping block because anything that's level 140 for some reason is made out of paper. I don't know if this is a fault in the code, my account's just poorly seeded, I don't know, but everything that's level 140 just wants to boom, and it's really frustrating, but it is what it is. I got my hybrid boss fab, so you know what, I'm taking this W. and I'll take the L's from Star Forcing. The first KT boomed pretty early on, so it didn't eat that much, which was nice. The second KT, the second KT did not want to live at all. Okay, it boomed first click, 17 to 18. You gotta love it. You gotta love it. So at this point, I was a little nervous, you know. I was like, okay, everything's booming, but fail stack, right? Like, surely these all tanked all the booms on my fire poison, right? So the arcane's got to be safe. So I started tapping the arcades, and boom, 19 stars. Okay. Swapped over to the boots. Let's see what we get. Immediate 19 again. Okay, we're rouletting. Go straight to 20. Do we see 20? Yes, we see 20. I was excited. I was like, this is the day. Everything's gonna go well. And then it went downhill. Just to spoil it, I don't want to spend too much time on Star Forcing on this character because I didn't have much to Star Force. The shoes I left at 20 because I didn't want to downgrade on this character, so I just left them there. The gloves, I tried to get to 20 and they just didn't go. So I'm sitting on the 17 gloves and a 20 arcane boots. So in case you were wondering, that's about 16 bill for a 20 star arcane boots, and that's pretty much all of the gains I made on my fire poison during this 5, 10, 15. So my first two characters were not very lucky, as you can see. I low rolled on both of them, unfortunately. But I have a lot of backups to work with on my Phantom, so I was pretty excited. I walked into my Phantom with 50 bill to work with, which is a ton for a mule at this point in the game. I started pretty low. I think it was 20 something mil combat power, and I think by the end of it I walk away with 30 mil. So actually not bad on the Phantom. Not a terrible event. Could have got a little bit better. I boomed about 7 of these belts before one went 22. So if you're wondering how should I stockpile on pink bean belts, is it worth filling my inventory? Yes. Okay, it's a 140 equip. 140 equips are made of paper. You have to remember that. So stock up. I think I'm probably gonna boom a lot more of these pink bean belts by the time I get a 22 sup. I don't tap for 22 in this video, or during this event rather, because I just wanted to spread out the gains a little bit more. I wanted to make sure I got other 22s, or 21s really, because I'm holding at 21 for now. But in the future, I do plan on pushing the sub belt and the sub earrings to 22 because there's just so many backups, and potentially the sub ring. The only thing about the sub ring is that you actually have to use the coins to buy the ring. So that's kind of cringe, but you do have a lot of KTs and transfer fodders to work with, so it's not the worst option to get to 22. The pendant, on the other hand, I might not 22 it, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. But I definitely will 21 it. Next up is the sub earrings, or the reinforced earrings into the sub earrings, really. And again, level 140, so they're made of paper, and basically it was just boom, boom, boom. It was booming back to back. I was getting really nervous. I didn't think I was going to make it because I didn't have that many backups of the 140 earrings, the reinforced earrings, and again, they're made of paper, so I was a little nervous. I even safeguarded them. That's how scared I was. I was like, you know what, we're safeguarding. But eventually they do go to 22, and I transfer them into my sup earrings, and now I'm rocking a 21 superior with no potential at all earring, which is pretty good. It's a pretty big gain for this character, and all of my weekly bosses are a lot faster. I finally do hard Damien. I could have done it before, but ain't nobody staying in hard Damien for the full 25 minutes or whatever, because That's such a miserable fight. Like, Damien is so... like, it's such a terrible boss fight. So these earrings definitely help a lot. And then the final gains I make also help out a lot. For the final 22 bill that I have on this for this event, I don't want to spend too much time on it. Basically, I 21 the KT and started to tap my CRA. I just started rouletting it. Got my hat and my top to 18, and then I zeroed out getting my pants back to 16. So that's basically it. Not a ton of combat power gains this month, unfortunately. I got kind of unlucky with RNG. I could have probably had a little bit more money saved up, but I tapped off event. I even tapped off event after the 5, 10, 15. I tapped on this dude, the Cadena, and I tapped my earrings, my grinding earrings. I forgot what they're called, the Dawn Boss earrings. The name is gone, and I'm gonna remember as soon as I stop recording. I'm gonna remember the name of those earrings. But yeah, I tapped those to 22. So I'm trying to finish up the Dawn Boss set for my grinding, get everything to 22, and also 22 my auto steel gloves on my Cadena. It's gonna be the next goal on the Cadena, which is mainly just farming gear. In terms of my fire poison, it did go up a little bit in combat power. I think it went up like 2 mil, but literally the only gain I made was on my boots. I gained 3 stars on my boots for 16 mil. That's kind of sad, but you know what? A gain is gain. Can't ask for more when it comes to RNG. Same with the Phantom. Could have been more lucky, but you know what? A gain is a gain. I went up by like 10 mil combat power, so it's hard to complain, really. Well, it's not hard to complain. It's easy to complain, but you know what I mean. But yeah, that's basically it for the combat power. But in terms of levels, we made some really, really big gains. We started the month off, I think my Phantom was 266, I believe, and we ended it at 270. Pretty big gain. That's awesome. I'm super happy to be done with the manual leveling process for a while on that character. Unless we get a cash up transfer, which we're not going to get in this Night Troop, sadly. But if we do, I might level that up a little bit, or the Thunderbreaker. You know, still torn. But the really big gain we made, aside from the Thunderbreaker going from 260 to 270, was getting this Cadena finally to 285. That's right. We are finally Carcion gamers. We can go to the bottleneck of all bottlenecks, where all the players are. I'm finally part of the cool kids, and I'm gonna hard push during Night Troop. Night Troop is gonna be a really hardcore leveling event, so I'm looking forward to it. And hopefully we don't have a 45-hour maintenance, which I probably just jinxed it. I'm sorry.